What's up guys, welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, Maga supporters, they are really having a rude awakening, and majority of them right now, they are coming out and regret how they voted. They are now coming out and say that instead of them voting for DJT, they will at least come out and vote for Kamala Harris.
I voted for Trump and I wish I voted for Kamala.
So right now they are realizing that Kamala Harris was good and she was better rather than Donald Trump.
Every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican.
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump, it was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values.
No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard.
You're even canvassing.
I am
for Democrat.
canvassing for a Democrat
That's
in
how
Wyoming.
strongly you feel.
I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy.
So right now they're coming out and admitting that Kamala Harris, she was really qualified for the job, but not DJT. And also right now we are seeing that how Americans, Maga supporters, how they are really going through the same policies that they voted. We are seeing that they voted for DJT to bring stability in America, to strengthen borders, and also to make America great again. They believe DJT is going to make America great again. But right now, how things is going in America, it seems like America it is not going to be greater, or America it is collapsing, because we are seeing that how life it has become more expensive in America. We are seeing grocery price, we are seeing gas price, we are seeing how Americans, they're involving with other countries in a war. So right now, these people, they are coming out and realize that they put a wrong person in office. So kindly guys, I want you to continue watching the rest of the video. Kindly remember to give a video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. All credits goes to the original creators of the video.
On day one, Donald Trump will walk into that office with an enemies list.
It was almost like Kamala Harris was psychic or something. She was right about everything.
President Trump, this message is for you. You know, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of you going up on stage on TV and telling us that we're living the best economy. Us people, we don't have the type of money that you have. We have to literally count every dime we make to make sure that we can afford our bills. Most people are working multiple jobs. Gas prices are going up. Food goes up all the time. So many people are leaving this country because it's so much better everywhere else. We are the third world country disguised with freedom.
She's right. In fact, the top 5 happiest countries in the world are these countries right here. And they made one small change to their country that America has not done yet. It's a small fix that allows politicians to better represent their voters' needs. It's called proportional representation. And this isn't a fringe idea. 500 of America's top democracy scholars just wrote an open letter to Congress urging them to adopt this new system. So our current system, which most people hate, is dominated by 2 parties, right? Democrats and Republicans. So if one party wins 51% of votes in a district, they win that entire district. One representative for every one district. But there's a problem. The other 49% of the people that voted, they're not represented. This isn't the case with proportional representation because it allows districts to have multiple representatives, which means those other 49% of the voters, they would still get 49% of the seats in the district. So here's where it gets interesting. This makes it so that independent parties can form around issues such as affordability. This ends all the shit we're tired of. The gerrymandering war, the two-party system, and having to constantly vote for the lesser of two evils. We need to start talking about the shit that we want. Love you guys.
Imagine being so fucking terrified and scared of Black women that you voted for the clown car that's happening right now. Imagine feeling so fucking inferior to intelligent Black women that you voted for a convicted felon. You voted for a reality TV host, a failed.
We have some news right now. Vice President Kamala Harris is coming out blasting the Trump administration over its explanation or lack thereof of the ICE shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota today. In a new statement released just minutes ago, Vice President Harris writes, quote, "Today in Minneapolis, ICE agents shot and killed a woman in a shocking incident. Governor Walz has announced the state will ensure a fair investigation, and I am grateful for his swift action. Many of us have seen the horrifying and painful video, which makes it clear that the Trump administration's explanation of this shooting is, quote, pure gaslighting. A full and fair investigation at the state level is absolutely necessary." This contradicts what Donald Trump has been saying. He has been defending this ICE agent, saying that essentially it was self-defense and it was justified. But the truth is, no investigation has happened yet. An investigation is necessary. I will continue to provide you updates as we get more information, so spread the word and follow along to stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. I will have another update for you soon.
I was told that if I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024, terrible things would happen. You know, grocery prices would go through the roof. Nobody would be able to fucking afford anything, and we'd be at war within a year. And it looks like they were right. I voted for Kamala Harris in 2024. 77 million of you window-licking, bigoted pieces of shit. We're not smart enough to do the same. And now, grocery prices are through the roof. Nobody can fucking afford anything. And we all just watched a demented septuagenarian do his best Lord Farquaad impression, talking about some of you may die, as he drags us into a war that is, by his own admission, without congressional approval. So I ask you this today, MAGA, how you fucking feeling? I hope all you MAGA chuds that never shut the fuck up about he's the president of peace and we can't have a woman president, she might start a war on her time of the month, are ready to go die in the Middle East for a president who started a war so we'd all forget that he's best friends with a bunch of fucking pedophiles. Excellent work, dumb fuck. I'll leave you with a quote from the president that you love to support. Our president will start a war with Iran because he's completely unable to negotiate. He's weak and ineffective. I'd tell you to think on that, but you have clearly been spared the burdens of intelligence. So instead, I'm going to tell you to get fucked.
If I could be honest, Kamala Harris would not have attacked Iran. And Kamala Harris would not have been responsible for 25% of the national debt increase, and Kamala Harris would not have done a rug pull where she gets $1.4 billion in her own pocket, and Kamala Harris would not have put zero effort into investigating all the people who went to Jeff Epstein Island after they passed a bill to expose the people who went to Jeff Epstein Island. So, yeah.
MAGA was right, y'all. They said if you voted for Kamala, that gas prices would go up. We'd be in a war with Iran. Jobs would be harder to get. The economy would be a mess. And elections would never be the same. Well, I voted for Kamala, and here we are.
I continue to see video after video of MAGA defectors. These are people who voted for Trump up to 3 times and now totally regret their vote. Whatever that line is, it's been crossed. For many people, it's the Epstein files. I continue to be slightly confused as to why that is the line. But it is the line for a lot of people. And some of the problems I'm seeing, and forgive me for saying this, comes from the left side, who are refusing to accept these people who no longer want to align themselves with Trump. There are plenty of people who are born and bred left-leaning. But there are so many people in this country who absolutely have not had the chance to deconstruct some of the propaganda they were raised with. And it's taken till now. So we have two options. We either reject those people or we accept them. And if we don't accept them, I think we're going to have a giant problem moving forward.
Y'all have to watch this. It's like this woman predicted how it was gonna be if Donald Trump was elected into office, and oh my gosh, it's like, why didn't she run for president? Y'all have to look at this. Look at this.
For everyone who didn't believe Kamala when she said if you give him power back, he's going to turn into a dictator. For everyone who didn't listen to Kamala when she said look at his policies, they're going to make prices go up. Now you can take his word for it. Over the weekend, first he said on Friday, I couldn't care less if they raise prices. I couldn't care less. I hope they raise their prices. No, I couldn't care less. Talking about the effects of his tariffs and the inflation they'll bring. And then today, Sunday, Trump won't rule out seeking a third term in the White House. He tells NBC News there are methods for doing so. When asked to clarify, no, I'm not joking. Great.
Consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol.
Who do we vote for?
Trump.
Why do we vote for Trump?
I feel like the hat says it all.
Who are you voting for?
Trump.
Why are we voting for Trump?
The border and economy.
Who are we voting for?
Donald Trump. I already voted, actually.
Why did we vote for Trump?
Because my mommy told me to.
Wow.
And I'm Christian.
Who do we vote for?
Donald Trump.
Why do we vote for Trump?
Because Kamala's dumb.
Vote for.
The only right candidate, Donald Trump.
And why do we vote for Trump?
Because I want to live a good life.
Vote for.
Trump.
Why did you vote for Trump?
Because I want to afford housing and I want to live a good life.
Who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Why Trump?
I mean, I'm a Christian, so I'm big on anti-abortion.
Yeah. What about y'all?
Same with
Trump?
what she said. Yeah. More right than what Kamala has to offer right now.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Why did we vote for Trump?
Because he's proven that he can already run this country effectively.
Yeah, who did we vote for?
Donald Trump. Trump.
Why did we vote for Trump?
Because he's a believer of Jesus Christ. Because I love America.
Who did y'all vote for?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump?
Trump.
Why did we vote for Trump?
He's the best, of course. I actually want to own a home one day.
Tonight, I will show you one example of Donald Trump's worldview and intentions. Please roll the clip.
The worst people are the enemies from within. The enemy from within. Those people are more dangerous, the enemy from within, than Russia and China. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices. Now, if you had one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
So you heard his words. You heard his words coming from him. He's talking about the enemy within Pennsylvania. He's talking about the enemy within our country, Pennsylvania. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country.
Stop, like, she cannot be our president.
If you're backing Donald Trump right now, I just have to say, like, how, right? And I voted for Trump, by the way, because, you know, I voted for Trump because Biden was falling up the stairs and doing sketchy stuff. And so there's no way I could vote for Kamala again, right?
Madam Vice President, can you tell us why your administration didn't release the Epstein files? Can you tell us? 4 years, but you guys didn't do it. What's your take on it?
Yeah. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. It's a serious issue. He is saying that he would use the military to go after them. Think about this.
Take place later today near City Hall. This follows President Trump's deployment of 2,000 National Guard members in response to a series of immigration protests across the city.
And Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to gut our investments in clean energy jobs. He intends to end the Affordable Care Act. To take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You guys remember what that was?
Trust me, guys, I did all my research on Kamala Harris, and it just wouldn't be good. Think about 4 years of that laugh, maybe even 8 years. I mean, that would just be bad for the economy. That'd be bad for the government. Countries don't respect us. Think about how bad things would be. Thank God she's not the president. She'd just be way too emotional, making emotional decisions. We don't need that right now. We need a strong leader, someone that's going to make the other countries bow down in fear, people that's going to make other countries respect us. We need a leader like Donald Trump. Think about the economy was better under Trump. People keep making this excuse that the COVID-19, I mean, that's not a good excuse for the economy doing bad. Just own up, man, own up. The economy was terrible under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I did all my research on Kamala. I know all about Kamala Harris. I just don't like the policies of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Could you imagine how bad this country would be? You never heard me complain about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when they're in office. People keep saying Trump is terrible. Well, look at Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I never called them terrible people. No one ever called them terrible people when they were in office. I need that same respect. Think about how abortions were higher. Abortions were a little bit higher under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Do you want to kill babies? Is that what you want to do? Kill babies? Sure, we were doing the same thing, but numbers were higher under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The economy, like I said, thank God we don't have Kamala Harris. Just too emotional. Should be making too emotional decisions. The policies are bad. What else? Yeah. We don't need Kamala Harris. We need a strong leader like Donald Trump. That's what we need. People ask me if I regret my vote. No, I do not regret my vote at all. In fact, I would vote for him twice as hard. I would vote for him a third term, maybe even a fourth term if I could.
Donald Trump isn't just the source of the problem. He is also a symptom. That awful kind of symptom that festers, you know, when you don't treat the underlying disease. In this case, the concentration of power. And make no mistake, There is a cabal of co-conspirators around him who coddle his corruption. Corruption that, by the way, is no victimless crime. Every minute they tend to his fragile ego is a minute they're doing nothing to help you. They would rather put money in his pockets than help you afford health care. They would rather build his gilded ballroom than reduce your grocery bill. They would rather try to silence their critics than help you fill your gas tank. Their people deploy ICE to terrorize our neighbors who will not lift a finger to help you make rent. They'll spend $125 billion on Trump's war in Iran, while folks can't even cover their basic needs here in America. This is the most callous, corrupt, and incompetent administration in America's history.
We have some major news. Former Vice President Kamala Harris just came out and slammed Donald Trump and his big ugly bill that just passed the Senate. In a new post on social media, Kamala Harris said, thanks to Senate Republicans, 17 million people will lose their health care. Thanks to Senate Republicans, rural hospitals will close. Thanks to Senate Republicans, 3 million Americans, including veterans and seniors, will lose food assistance. Thanks to Senate Republicans, families will see their energy bills go up by $400 a year. Senate Republicans are doing all of this and more, hurting working people across our nation in order to pay for $1 trillion in tax cuts for billionaires. There's still time to stop this bill before it passes in the House. Call your representative and tell them to vote no, she says. Thank you to Kamala Harris for speaking out against this, because what Trump and the Republicans are trying to do is disastrous. All of these things are true, and all of these projections are not coming from Democrats. They're coming from nonpartisan sources whose job is to evaluate bills like this. This bill will hurt tens of millions of Americans. It is remarkable just how disastrous it's going to be.
Understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
This goes out to the Magas who are complaining about Eminem endorsing Kamala Harris. Guys, just listen to his music. Listen to the lyrics. He's talked about his political views in his earlier music as well as his newer music. He literally did a 4-minute freestyle against Trump. So, like, when y'all are saying, like, oh, my favorite rapper didn't endorse my guy. Well, first, check yourself. Was he your favorite rapper? Because, you know, if he was your favorite rapper, you would probably know his music and know what he's rapping about, right? And if you knew what he's rapping about and actually knew the lyrics, you would know that he wouldn't support Trump. This is kind of giving when all the MAGAs were complaining about Green Day singing, "I'm not a part of a MAGA agenda." Guys, what did you think the redneck agenda was? So, yeah, maybe this is your sign that all of your so-called favorite celebrities are not endorsing your guy. It's probably because your guy is a bad person.
The North Dakota Supreme Court just reinstated a criminal abortion ban with devastating consequences for pregnant women who aren't even seeking abortion. Let me explain. Every abortion is now automatically considered a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison, unless the doctor can prove to a jury that one of these exceptions applied.
which means that doctors will only treat cases that look 100% defensible in court, even if that means the patient suffers. Routine complications that used to be treated early will now be allowed to progress because treating them too soon could look like an illegal abortion. Pregnant women will suffer longer and face a higher risk of danger from preventable conditions that could have been treated earlier, which is exactly what's happening in other states with similar bans. This ruling forces doctors to run on legal fear instead of medical judgment.
You know, before the 2024 presidential election, I talked to so many Trump supporters, so many, who told me they didn't want to support Kamala Harris for president because she's a woman. They thought she was too emotional, that she couldn't handle major challenges that faced the United States, that she wouldn't be able to handle the pressures of the presidency. And now today, we have two narcissistic, egotistical billionaires who've been running the country for the past 6 months, beefing with each other online, having a breakup in front of the entire country and, quite frankly, the entire world, emotionally attacking each other. So, Maga, you tell me who's too emotional to lead. Kamala Harris, the experienced prosecutor who has served for decades in positions of power, or Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who, when they get slightly offended, decide to go nuclear and just throw everything out the window. You tell me. Please, get back to me ASAP. I'm looking forward to it. Mwah.
So there's a woman who is a conservative. She's pro-life. She voted for Trump. But she's regretting her decision because now she's pregnant with her third child. She's older. And there might be some complications where the child might not make it. And her doctor's saying, hey, you may need to go out of state to get a late-term abortion, right? So she's going through a panic. And she calls her husband to tell her what the doctor says. And her husband said, no, that's just a liberal doctor. Don't worry about it. First off, to that woman who's in this situation, I'm sorry. I hope the worst case scenario does not happen. I hope you have a healthy baby with no complications. I would never want anything to happen to you and your child. Never. I don't understand this need to listen to your husband over a medical professional. I don't get it. That's why a lot of us don't mess around with religion. That's why a lot of us don't play around with conservative men. Because I would want a husband, because everybody's like liberal husbands are, my liberal husband would immediately go, what state, how much money we need to gather, let's find a doctor, here's a directory. That is the type of partner you want. The problem with conservative men is that they think they know everything and they think they own their wives, even at the detriment of their wives. I don't understand, ma'am, how you could listen to a man that's not a doctor and politicians about your health care versus your doctor. And we have been telling y'all for so long, this narrative that they are pushing about late-term abortions, wrong. It's wrong. It's only if there's something wrong with the baby. It's not just for the fun of it. Because if that were the case, then that would just be murder. Trump, Greg Abbott, your husband, they are not going to help you if things ever really took a turning point.
I didn't know anything about Trump's policies. I just voted for him. Nah, Maga, you can't get away with that with me, right? Because you were too loud before the election about how it was going to make the country better. So when you hear Maga say things like that, you know what that is? That's somebody that's a coward. They're afraid to stand up and align themselves visually, right? For everybody to know with all the crappy shit you see happening right now, they know it doesn't look good, but they don't have the backbone to still align themselves with it. So now it becomes, I didn't know no better. You knew enough to be loud about it before the election, so I know enough about it to keep calling you out on it now. Stop making these people feel comfortable. The problem is people like MAGA folk who go all in on stuff like that, and then when it gets really, really bad, they want to act like, well, I didn't know any better. You're not a child. You're a grown-ass adult. You're not a child. So I'm not going to treat you like one. And what do conservatives always talk about? Personal responsibility. And that's what I expect you to have too. But I'm not going to let any MAGA get away with, I didn't know. Well, you should have known, or you should have stayed your ass at home.
So guys, welcome back to the channel once again. So you have watched and see how MAGA supporters, they are coming out and have a rude awakening. Majority of them, they are regretting how they voted, and this is because of how DJT policy it has started to affect them. You know, these people that are coming out talking because they are now feeling the heat with the policies that they voted. Because when these people, if these people, they could not be feeling the heat of DJT policies, they could not have come out and talk. And that's why you can see majority of black people, they are not showing any sympathies to these people. They are not helping them, because these people, they were black people. In fact, they came out and tried to warn these people for voting for DJT, but they didn't listen. Now guys, during the 2024 election, many Trump voters gave very simple reason. Some said they wanted stronger border security. Others talk about inflation and the cost of groceries. Some were concerned about abortion. Others said they wanted a president who would be tougher on foreign government. And some simply said they prefer Trump personality and leadership style. Those are all political choices that voters have the right to make. But there is another side to the story. Some people who supported Trump are now questioning whether the promises they had during the campaign are matching what they are seeing in real life. Now, the economy is one of the biggest example. People do not experience the economy through political speeches. They experience it when they go to the supermarket, pay rent, fill up their car, receive a medical bill, or try to buy a home. That is why the cost of living is such an important political issue. Politicians can promise cheaper groceries and lower price, but making that happen is much harder than saying it during a campaign. Inflation, interest rates, energy costs, trade policies, supply chains, and global events can all affect prices. Some voters should not simply ask, what did these politicians promise? They should also ask, what has actually happened? And that brings us back to Kamala Harris. During the campaign, Kamala Harris repeatedly warned voters about what she believed a second Trump presidency could look like. Her supporters now argue that some of these warnings deserved another look. One major concern was presidential power. Trump has often used very strong language when talking about people he considered political enemies. The phrase enemy within became particularly controversial. The concern is not simply that a politician uses aggressive language. Political leaders have always attacked their opponent. The bigger question is what happens when the language is combined with government power. If a president begins threatening political opponents, journalists, protesters, or critics as enemies of the country, that can create a dangerous political environment. So guys, you can see also Kamala Harris came out and tried to warn these people about voting for DJT, but majority of MAGA supporters, they didn't listen. You know, right now, in fact, the people who are coming out and crying, it is them. It is not the black people. It is not the minority people, because these people, they voted for the minority people to be punished, but God is coming out and turning it to them. And that's why you can see they are coming out and starting to ask question if they really voted for this to happen to them. Now guys, I just want also to read a few comments and see what majority of our black people that are coming out and say in the comment section. This one saying that the shallow stupidity evident in these Trump voters is staggering. This one saying that Maga is the enemy within. This one saying that even us non-Americans could see through Trump. This one saying that well, too little, too late, Maga. You all wanted this and you got it. And to the voters who sat out, I don't want to hear from you all. This one saying that Trump started reading main Kampf but couldn't get past the first two letters. This one saying that, oh my god, with these young kids voting for Trump, poor deluded children. This one saying that I will never forget or forgive anyone who vote for Trump 3 times. This one saying that Trump is not a religion, he is a monster. This one saying that I would love to see them go back to those college kids and ask how they're liking Trump now. This one saying that don't trust them, they will do the same thing again. Don't get complacent. Took what happened last time. So you can see how people that are coming out and reacting to these MAGA supporters. So this is to tell you that these people these people, when they were going to vote, they knew that they will be safe, but the people who will be hurt with the DGT policies, it is black people, but it is not them. But it is like God came through for minority people and God came through for black people. So right now, they are really harvesting what they right now they are reaping what they sow. You know, when you are voting to punish others, instead of you going to do that, kindly sit down and think, if you are really going to punish other, what if it will fail? It will come back and punish you. And that's why you can see that one, it is the thing that these people are experiencing right now. So kindly guys, you can also share your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think on the comment section. Kindly remember to give a video a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. See you guys on my next one. Bye bye.